Hello, everyone. My name is 4'9". Today on 4 Foot Friday, and today we are going to be talking about possible trade destinations for Kyrie Irving. It's today in the NBA. It's this hot topic that's been going around. You probably know Kyrie Irving has requested a trade from the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they've been actively shopping him. And about 20 teams have shown interest, but 6 have reached out to them, made offers. We believe that's what it is. So we're gonna go. We're basically gonna go through, these 6 teams and talk about if he would fit, if he wouldn't fit, and how the trade could be possible for him to be fitted into this right environment for him. Obviously, it's a whole nother video to talk about, but is he better as a, number 2 player, or is he better as the number 1 guy? Obviously, in Cleveland, he is the number 2 guy behind LeBron James, and if he went to a team like, any of these 6 teams, he could possibly be the number 1 guy, but, maybe not for a few teams, maybe for a few teams, but it all depends on the coaching for those teams and how he wants to be fit in. Obviously, the thing with Kyrie Irving, he says he wants to go to these 6 teams too. However, he doesn't have that no trade clause, meaning he could go anywhere. If they want to trade him to the Utah Jazz, they could trade him to the Utah Jazz. If he wants to be traded to, the Miami Heat, that may not be a possible place for him to go if the Cleveland Cavaliers want him to be traded to the Brooklyn Nets. You know what I mean? So it's not up to him who decides. It's actually up to the GM. A lot of the time, we see players like Carmelo Anthony. It's up to them to decide where they're going to, because for Carmelo Anthony could stay at New York unless they release Carmelo, then he's staying at this New York area, because unless they trade him obviously to where he wants to go, he can say no to any trade that happens. If he doesn't want to be traded to the Utah Jazz, he'll say, if they do possibly want to trade him there, he'll just say no, right? So 6 teams have made offer. These teams include the San Antonio Spurs, the LA Clippers, the Phoenix Suns, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the New York Knicks, and the Miami Heat. So let's get into talking about each of these teams, starting off with the San Antonio Spurs. Now, the San Antonio Spurs, this could be a definite team for him to go to. He'd be coached by the best coach in the league, in Greg Popovich, and he'd be the number 1 offensive guy, because Kawhi Leonard I think Kawhi Leonard is a better player than Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard is he's the best defensive player in the league. He would have won Defensive Player of the Year, but the NBA doesn't like giving out awards 3 times in a row. So, we haven't seen that for a long time. Otherwise LeBron James would win MVP almost every year, that type of thing. So the Spurs, though, they have the best defensive player in the league, and he's putting on that. He's ever since he's gotten into this league, he's tried improving that offensive game, and it's worked. He's becoming a very good offensive player. He's at this point the best 2-way player in the league, and it's crazy to think the best defensive player is also a great 2-way player. And I think it would fit him as the San Antonio Spurs, because him and Kawhi Leonard would go, they'd make the championship. I think they would beat they could possibly beat the Warriors in the championship. Or, well, it wouldn't be in the championship, but it would be in the Western Conference Finals. So, I think they could possibly even get that number 1 seed. The problem is, what are the Spurs going to indeed give up? Are they going to give up Danny Green? Because, the Cavaliers obviously can trade him anywhere. And they have many teams to select from. I don't know if the Spurs can give up enough. And the fact is, too, would you rather give him to the Brooklyn Nets, where they're not going to cause any damage to the Cavaliers? Or would you give him to the Spurs, who, if you do end up facing them in the finals, they can beat you? Right? You'd rather give Kyrie Irving to a smaller team who doesn't have as much of a chance. But obviously, you want the best offer for your team, and the Spurs, I don't know if they had that. LaMarcus Aldridge, Paul Gasol, Danny Green. You're not going to give Kawhi Leonard to the Cavaliers, because Kawhi Leonard's better than Kyrie Irving in my mind. And So that's off the of who to give. Tony Parker and Danny Green, the Cavaliers are just not going to accept that. Even if you throw in Pau Gasol, they're just not going to accept that. So, the Spurs, it's really crossed off, of the list of, who I think he'll go to, because I just don't think the Spurs have the right players to offer. Jonathan Simmons is gone. They can't offer Jonathan Simmons. That type of thing. So, Spurs crossed off the list. Moving on to the LA Clippers. The LA Clippers are interesting because they have Patrick Beverley, they have Lou Williams, they have DeAndre Jordan, they have Blake Griffin, they have, a good players, but they lost Chris Paul, meaning that they need a good point guard, and it'd basically be trading Chris Paul for Kyrie Irving, because I think, who would you give? You'd give, Patrick Beverley and Lou Williams, but what's really being said about is DeAndre Jordan, which would be incredible for the Clippers, because they get one of the best point guards in the league for, probably the best center in the league. However, what's more valuable, a point guard or a center? What's going to get you to the championship, a point guard or a center? DeAndre Jordan's not going to get you to the championship the same way as Kyrie Irving would. So, yeah, Kyrie Irving and Blake Griffin would be playing together. DeAndre Jordan would be really good for the Cavaliers against the Warriors. You need to rebound a lot. He's a great, not just good, but great rebounding center. That's what he does. The problem with this, though, do you trade Patrick Beverley and DeAndre Jordan? The thing with the Cavaliers, what they need is they need, a wing defender, and they also need a point guard in return. But if they could, they would also need a good center, because the three holes the Cavaliers have is they have everything really, but they don't have that wing defender to protect against, like an R.J. Roberson type player to protect against three-point shooters. The only player they really have in that is LeBron James, who, he can't do it all by himself. He needs, especially in the regular season when he's playing less and less minutes, as, he could, but he could play as much minutes as he wants, but he wants to protect that body, as otherwise, he'll have a shorter career than he wants. And their center right now is Tristan Thompson. He just didn't do that great of a job in the finals. He's a great center, but he didn't do anything in the finals. And, that's something you might want to... You could possibly even put Tristan Thompson in that deal with Kyrie Irving, and you could possibly get even more out of it. Like, you have that DeAndre Jordan, but you just need more, you don't have that, maybe if Chris Paul was there, you could try and get Chris Paul from the Clippers, do like a Kyrie Irving, because obviously Kyrie Irving's very young and things aren't working for the Clippers. You wouldn't be able to do this, but you know what I mean when I say, like, Kyrie Irving and Tristan Thompson for, DeAndre Jordan and Chris Paul with other assets in there, that type of thing. But because Chris Paul was traded, it's just that type of thing, and you can't get that great point guard in return. Moving on, though, Phoenix Suns. This is probably one of the best destinations for Kyrie Irving, and, they have all three players that the Cavaliers might want. They have, they have Eric Bledsoe, class player. They have T.J. Warren, a really nice wing defender. And the only thing they really don't have, you could throw in Tyson Chandler. Actually, you know what? Let me go over to the trade machine now and just see kind of. The ESPN trade machine, it's a great thing if you don't know what it is. I'm going to put in the trade for the Cleveland Cavaliers for Team 1, and I'm going to add Team 2 of the Phoenix Suns, and we're going to actually see, if we can put together a trade live on video. So what they would do is they throw Eric Bledsoe in, right? That makes sense because you need that point guard in return. Jared Dudley is, a class wing defender, and if you're LeBron James, would you rather have Jared Dudley or would you have Josh Jackson? I'd rather have Jared Dudley. Josh Jackson is unproven, and I'm talking from LeBron James standpoint. You'd rather have a proven player. So we're going to put Jared Dudley in there. Even though Josh Jackson's not making a lot of money, he's making about $5 million per year less. And then you get that other player in there, which is indeed Tyson Chandler you could go with. And that would be for Kyrie Irving. If you try the trade, it fails. You have to cut $13 million. If you throw Iman Shumpert's $10 million in there, you still need to cut how much? Just $1 million. So, I mean, you could do that, yeah. So what I'm ending up doing is this could be a possible trade, not including picks and whatnot. But Cleveland Cavaliers send Kyrie Irving, Iman Shumpert, and Eddie Tavares to the Phoenix Suns for Eric Bledsoe, Tyson Chandler, Jared Dudley. You get the point guard in return that you need. Hopefully he doesn't get injured. You get Tyson Chandler, who is an aging player but can help you win right now. And Jared Dudley is a great wing defender for your team. And Eddie Tavares is a good player for the Suns because he's over 7 foot tall, and he has a lot of potential. When you have a 20 player efficiency rating, you know that you're a pretty decent player, at least in terms of potential. Iman Shumpert, he's just a contract that you would put away. If you're in terms of the Phoenix Suns standpoint, I don't think they're trying to win now because they have so much young players in their team. And if you have yourself Kyrie Irving, I think that's pretty good. Him and Devin Booker, that's pretty good because you have Eric Bledsoe. He's a risk because he could just get injured again. Tyson Chandler, he's an aging player. Would you rather have him, or would you rather have him, Bledsoe, and Dudley, or Kyrie Irving? If I'm in terms of, setting up a good team, maybe luring in some free agents, you kind of want that Kyrie Irving on your team as your number 1 option with Devin Booker as your number 2 option. I think this trade works for both teams. I don't think the Suns want Tyson Chandler at this point because I think they'd rather have Alex Len. Jared Dudley, that's the one player they'd be missing a lot because Eric Bledsoe's a risk. He could be a great player for them next year, but Jared, it's basically coming down to would I rather have Jared Dudley or Kyrie Irving. I'd rather have Kyrie Irving. And you even get Iman Shumpert, which is a good backup player for your team. So that's definitely an option for them. You have the Minnesota Timberwolves we can talk about. This team would be great this team would be great for him to go over to. And I think it would, he might be that number 1 option, but the problem is if he wants to be a number 1 option, he's not going to want to go to, he's not really going to want to go over to the team. It wouldn't really work for him because he wants to be the number 1 option. You have Jimmy Butler on that team. You have Andrew Wiggins, Karl-Anthony Towns. You're going to be the 2nd, maybe 3rd option on that team. Hate to say it, but, as soon as that center throws in the ball to the game, it's the point guard's decision what to do with it. So in terms of that, he could ignore the coach and be the number 1 option, but that's just going to make you sit on the bench. So Timberwolves wouldn't really work, and what I would see happening is Jeff Teague and Andrew Wiggins. That's what people are talking about. That wouldn't work in terms of the money, so you'd have to throw in, like, if you're the Cavaliers, you have to throw in, like, Richard Jefferson, maybe. You have to throw in, like, Richard Jefferson and Eddie Tavares or Kay Felder, either one. And, that would work, Jimmy Butler and Andrew Wiggins for Kyrie Irving, Richard Jefferson, and Eddie Tavares, so... that would work if you're the Timberwolves and the Cavaliers. The problem is the Timberwolves, their rebuild is going so well, I don't know if they want to interrupt it and, trade that Jeff Teague and Wiggins because Wiggins is a top player for his age, and you have Jeff Teague who's a decent point guard. If you combine that with Karl-Anthony Towns, I think they wait to see, how this team does. And, if it's not going well, then you can think about trading them for Kyrie Irving. But by then, he could be already traded. So Timberwolves, not coming to this point, to me, it just doesn't seem as realistic as, I was like, oh my God, this could be something, 2 weeks ago. I was like, wow, Timberwolves, yes. Moving on, New York Knicks. This is the team he does want to go to. And I put together this trade many times. Many times. And this is like, God, I love this trade for both teams. I love this trade so much because I think it could definitely benefit the teams. You know, Kyrie Irving for Courtney Lee and Porzingis. Porzingis is a great player for the Cavaliers. He'd be that great three-point shooter on the team. He'd rebound the ball. He'd do everything. And you have Tristan Thompson coming off the bench, dominating that center position. Porzingis would obviously play center in this case. You get Courtney Lee, who could possibly be the starting shooting guard. And then you trade your Kyrie Irving. However, the only problem in this sense is that Kyrie Irving is your point guard, and you wouldn't get a point guard in return. However, what if they were to try and put Iman Shumpert at point guard? They probably know how that works, so that could work well. If not, though, you could definitely put Frank Ntilikina in the deal. Frank Ntilikina, he could be a decent player for the Cavaliers to get. You know, it's just going to be interesting to see what happens. I would love this trade. You know, even Courtney Lee, Porzingis, and Ntilikina for Kyrie Irving would be just incredible. We'll see what happens. Moving on. This is the last team I have. It's the Miami Heat. And the Miami Heat, this is probably, it's why I saved it for the last team. It's the number one team that I think you'll go to. If there's would be a team. 2, probably the Phoenix Suns. 3, probably the Knicks. 4, Timberwolves. 5, Clippers. Lastly, the Spurs. But, you know, you can just get so much back for Kyrie Irving in this sense. Where you trade, and I'll even put this into Trade Machine right now. Trading Goran Dragic, great point guard. Justice Winslow, great small forward. Kyrie Irving, you're trading him for Goran Dragic, Justice Winslow, and that would be pretty good. You know, you could actually try and get like Hassan Whiteside in there, try and trade away Tristan Thompson, but the Heat wouldn't be willing to do that. Hassan Whiteside is their franchise player. However, Goran Dragic, he's getting on that older side. But if you want to trade something for Kyrie Irving, he's an option. Justice Winslow, he's a great option for that wing defender I've been talking about. And then as your center, you could try and get like a Kelly Olynyk. If you did Kelly Olynyk, you might have to throw in like someone like a Iman Shumpert. Iman Shumpert's a great player, just a salary dump in case you need that good center. You could try and go Bam Adebayo, Kelly Olynyk, James Johnson, Okara White. Try and just get that center in. Even A.J. Hammonds, but, you know, that's not as big as a, you know, player that I might want to throw in. But, you know, Goran Dragic, Justice Winslow, 2 great players to throw in. And some other possible options could be, you know, well, that's really it, because maybe the Pistons could also make a move, because, as I said, with your wing defender, you could try and throw in like Avery Bradley. You could possibly, because he's a good wing defender, but he's also, you can play him at point guard too. So actually, if I could just make a trade on the spot right now, Avery Bradley, Reggie Jackson for Kyrie Irving. So Avery Bradley can't be traded in combination for 2 months, I believe. Yeah. So what you would want to do then, if you want to make a move right now, Reggie Jackson, and you could throw in, I don't know, Boban Marjanovic, because he's obviously 7'3". Reggie Jackson, you get a very nice point guard in return. Boban Marjanovic, great rebounder, and Stanley Johnson, your wing defender. And then what you would do is you just have to throw in Richard Jefferson, and voila. -7 wins for both teams in this situation. However, if you're the Cavaliers, Kyrie Irving and Richard Jefferson, you don't need, if you're getting. It's just this really point that I've been talking about this whole episode that we're doing right now. If you're going to trade Kyrie Irving, you need to be patient. You need to wait if you're the Cavaliers, and they've been doing that. You know, get a very nice point guard in return. You don't need to get an all-star point guard in return, but you need to get one that's playable. You need to get one that's not going to let players like Stephen Curry score on them, but they need to have an offensive game. That's why I think Goran Dragic is the perfect point guard for them. You know, you could even go Kemba Walker. I'm not sure if the Hornets are willing to give Kemba Walker away. And then But Kemba Walker, if they were willing to give him, you could try and get him and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Him and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist for Kyrie Irving, any Munchausen, that type of thing. I'm not sure if the Hornets are willing to do that. However, if they were, that's a possible option. There's many options. The Cavaliers need to wait. They need to make sure they get a point guard, a rebounder, and a wing defender. Because if they get those three people, if they get that wing defender, if they get that rebounder, and they get that, very nice point guard in return, Eric Bledsoe, Kemba Walker, Goran Dragic, that type of player, they get a wing defender like Andre Roberson, Stanley Johnson, Justice Winslow, TJ Warren even. And they get that, great rebounding center in terms of DeAndre Jordan, that, just that type of player. That's what they need. And then they can compete with the Warriors, and it would be a great trade for them. However, then again, you have to look, they're trading Kyrie Irving. Teams need to put in offers, and they can get themselves Kyrie Irving. That's what they need to think about. If I put in an offer, I can get Kyrie Irving. Why not? If you're the Nuggets are a possible team for Kyrie Irving to go to because they need a point guard. They have a great front court. They need a point guard. You could do the same thing with even the Pelicans. They have Rondo and they have Jrue Holiday, but do they really have an all-star point guard who can lead Davis and Cousins? Put in an offer. Why not? So teams like the Nuggets, they have Jokic and they have who'd he's a Hawks power. I can't think of his name. He's the power forward that just signed for them and is, oh my god, I can't, Paul Millsap, there we go. So if you try and trade like Emmanuel Mudiay or whatnot, but just put in offers. Will Barton, Gary Harris, Emmanuel Mudiay, all of those guys have work to them. Juan Hernan Gomez, and you could trade like Kenneth Faried. Just put in an offer. Try and get Kyrie Irving because he's available. He definitely is. And if you're the Cavaliers, be patient. Wait till you get a great offer. Don't do what other teams have done this offseason. And hopefully they're smart, but we have to see what happens. Anyway, by now I'm just kind of rolling on and on, talking like I need to just stop talking. So yeah, you don't probably want to hear me giving you a lecture on Kyrie Irving for 23 minutes. But you know what? That's gonna wrap it up. So thank you so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Leave a dislike if you didn't enjoy the video, but let me know in the comment section why you did not like this video. But yeah, if you did enjoy, please subscribe. Make sure to follow my blog at 4foot9.wordpress.com. And have an amazing day. Peace.